Hello friends, and welcome back of you all to my channel. I apologize for being idle for quite a long time because due to some work engagements, but now since I have a good time for you, so I'm happy to be with you again. This video is another video of our package, which is this one, the Flutter 2.5 with new features. In this video we will talk about something which is come up new. It's called StatefulBuilder, and we will talk about the states of our widgets. In any widgets, what are the types of the states, the setState, the provider, and also the StatefulBuilder, and we'll see what are the differences and how can we best implement each one of them, because this is this state management is a very important issue, because it can save a lot of rendering, save a lot of building and rebuilding of your widgets for each page of your application. So if you know how to handle this state management, then you can save a lot of building, and as I said, building and rebuilding of your widgets. Some of these widgets are not necessary to build or rebuild. So we will cover this subject in this video, and we will see these three types: the setState, the provider, and the StatefulBuilder, and we see how each one of them affect the building and the rebuilding of our widgets in our application. So I forgot to say thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I do hope, if you are new to my channel, please help me with the subscribe, and if you find these videos useful to you, please hit the like button. It will support me a lot with your likes, and hit the notification bell so you can get the latest videos from my channel. Okay, now without further ado, let's see what is we are doing now. What we want to see, how the application, our application, build and rebuild and render our widgets. So suppose I have this widgets. Now when I click on this button, I need to make some change in this container, in this widget, in this container widget. I need to make the change only in this. Here are two other containers. I don't want to make any changes in them. Can I do this? And what are the ways to do that? Okay, so let's start by the default one. The default one is the setState. Now when you do a setState, it's obviously that if you wish to do any change in this container widget, your entire web, your entire page with all the widgets will be rebuilt again. So I want to do the changes only on here, but even though I don't want to make any changes in these, I don't want to rebuild them, but with setState it will do the rebuild of these widgets, which is too much work, unnecessary work that I don't need. I just need to make some changes on this widget part of this page. So how we can overcome this? Now let's take a look at this. It's just a page, a stateful page, a stateful web page, and which has a selected image. This selected image, it's from my assets, it's from the assets. I create an instance of this string, which I use it in the init state, and then I build this scaffold builder. Now we will talk about the provider later, because the provider is related to the second way of managing our state, which will be in here. So here we'll do the setState, here we will do the provider, and here we will do with the StatefulBuilder. So first of all, let's build our widget, our page. This is a scaffold with app bar, and then we will do a list view, which contains the list view. It is the first regular setState, which is this few things. This one, the first one, is obviously this text, and then we will do an image, which is this one. An image, we will take it as an image.assets, .assets, the image.assets, and we will take the selected image that we have initialized at the beginning in our init state. Okay, so this will be shown at the beginning when our widget start. When our widget build, then we will take this image and we will stick it in here. Okay, so this is the first thing. And then we have two buttons, which these two buttons comes in a container and inside a row, and these are text buttons 1 and 2, and each text button have an onPressed function. We will apply on this function a setState, which is the first state management in Flutter, state management type in Flutter, which is the setState. So when I want to click on this button, I want to set a new state and I want to change the image. I want to change this image. I change this selected image, I change it with another image from my assets. Okay, now on the other hand, when I click on the second button, on the second button, which is this one, okay, I need to set state, a new state, and I give this selected image a new value, a new image. Now remember, when we set a new state, the entire widget, the entire page will be rebuilt, and let's see what will happen. Now, because at down here, down at this with builder, with StatefulBuilder, I have also a selected image. So if I change this in here, is it going to affect this one also? Now Flutter says yes. If you take a setState, everything will be changed in that web page, and every value that you have used in the setState will be applied to all other widgets. So I have this selected image value in the init state. This selected image will be applied on the wherever there is a selected image, it will be used, and then it will be rebuilt that widget which we use this value, which uses the selected image value. Okay, so let's try it and see. As you can see here, I have changed the image and it also changed in here. Why? Because I rebuilt the entire web page with setState. I have rebuilt the entire setState, and one of the things in here is that this image takes its value from the init state. Okay, so now when I pressed in this first button, I gave it another value, and this value had been reassigned to this selected image, rebuilt the entire web page and gave it into here and as well as into here. When you rebuild a page, that value in the init state will be applied to any widget which uses this value. So if I change again in here another image, okay, as you can see here it's changed, but also it's here in change because I'm using this value in here. Okay, now I just wanted to change this image, but you can see I have rebuilt again also this widget, which I don't need it, to be honest. I don't need to rebuild this. I just needed to rebuild this image, this widget, this container. But setState also rebuilt the entire page, and it also rebuilt this image, this container widget. And that's what setState do. That's what setState do. It rebuilds everything in your page. You cannot control which page you wish to, or which widget you wish to change. That's the issue with setState. Okay, so having said that, that means we have covered the first type of our state management in Flutter. let's take a look at let's jump onto the provider. Let's see a provider. Now, this page with the provider, I need to create a provider in this case. Okay, when I click on this button, these are two buttons. When I click on these buttons, I want to select the value of this button, assign it to a provider, and this container which shows an image, I will add a listener to it. Whenever the value of the provider changes, then immediately this value will be changed. Immediately this value will be changed. One of the good things of the provider that it only changes the container or the widget that you are working with. So this is the second state management type in Flutter, the provider package or the provider. So when I work with the provider, I can change only this page. I don't change this one and I don't change this one. So this is the second type of the state management. If you wish to control your application, if you want to improve the performance instead of rebuilding these two unnecessary widgets, I can use the provider just to change this widget. So how we can do? Now obviously we need to create a provider. This is the provider with some images and for each, and then we need to change the image. If the image changes, so this is the image 1 and this is the image 2. We need to create a getters and setters for each one of them, image 1 and image 2, and then I need to do the current image. It's better when you create the variables in a provider, it's better to give them a default values. It's better to give them a default, otherwise sometimes you will get a null exception, null value exception. So it's better to give some default values that if something went wrong, you will fall back to this default values. So the image 1, which is this one, I give it a getter and setter. Image 2 in this button, I give it also a getter and setter. Okay, and the current image also I give it a getter and setter. And then here I just do this this change image like a function. If the current image contains the first image, then I need to set the current image as the second image, and then I notify listeners. So if the current image is contains the first image, I need to change it. I need to set it, the current image, as the second image. And likewise, if the current image is image number 2, if it's not, then I need to set it as number 1 image. Okay, so it's like this. So this is the provider. Now once you have done the provider, you need to declare it. Don't forget declare it in the app.dart. In the app.dart, we learned in previous courses how we can add a provider to our application. In the app.dart file, we create a multi-provider, and then we add the provider that we are using. Would give its name because it's a type state. So stateful provider, which is this one. This is the stateful provider. I have given, you could give it any name you like. So this is, I have added this provider to the app.dart into the multi-provider. Okay, now once we have done this, the provider, now we need to create an instance of it in our page, in this page. We need to create an instance of it, and then we need to add it in our build provider. As you can see here, we need to add an instance of it into the build, and then we can use it. After that, we can use it. Now, this is 2 buttons, as I have said. Okay, these 2 buttons have default values as I have told you, they have default values. Button 1, button 2, and the current button, current image button. So when I press on this button using the onPress method, I want to use the instance of the stateful provider, and I need to set the image 1. I need to set the image 1 to stateful provider image 1 address. Okay, so what I need exactly, I will take the default value. This is the default value, and I will place it, I will set it in here in the setter, and then I will apply the change image method that I have created in here. This is the way how you can change this image. So I take the default value, I set it, and then after I set it, I use it in the change image method. Okay, and likewise with the second button, with image number 2, with this button, with image 2 with provider, the same thing. I take this second default value, and I set it into it. I set it in here, and then I use it in the change image. That's the way how you can change. Now, how we can show the image in here. We will use an image assets, and then we will take the stateful provider instance that we have, and we take the current image. We get the current image using the getter of the current image. Okay, so let's see what will happen. As you can see, I'm changing the image without changing anything else in that page. And that's one of the good things of the provider, that it only changes the states of the widget that you are working with, the widget that you wish to and you want to change its state. To the provider gives you this ability, to change only the state of the widget that you wish to make any changes on. So this is the second way how you can handle your state management of your application using the provider. Now the third way is using a stateful builder widget. This is a container which contains also the same thing, 2 buttons and a place for an image with default image. So what I'm gonna do in this container, this is the container widget, this one, which has a child. This child, I will add a stateful builder widget. Stateful builder widget takes a context and takes a state setter, which sets state. Now, I will make a column in this container. Okay, and now I will do a row. This row will take 2 buttons, and each row I will apply the same thing, set state, and I will change the value of the image. I will change the value. Now you might say, okay, what happened? This is the same thing with the first case. When we did the set state. That's right. That's right. It is exactly the same thing that we have done in here. We also using set state, but with one main difference, is that this the entire widget, the entire container is under the StatefulBuilder, That's the main difference between this container and this container. In this container, we just used the entire container under setState, but with this one, we have put the entire child under StatefulBuilder, and that's the main difference, because this StatefulBuilder will know that I want to change this image, replace it only for this widget, I don't want to change this widget as well, although I'm using setState. But as we have said, this setState is under the control of StatefulBuilder. So the StatefulBuilder will realize that you want to set a new state only for this widget. Okay, so the same thing we will do here. We just set state and give it a new value for the image, and on the second button also, a set state, and we give it some other image from your assets. And then in here we will do the selected image, same as what we have done before with the first container. But now this selected image will be taken only from these buttons, and it will be applied only on this container because of the StatefulBuilder, because of the effect of the StatefulBuilder. Now, we will not render this, we will not rebuild, we will not render this, and we will not rebuild. So this is very good point to improve the performance of your application. You don't have to waste your resources, CPU, memory, bandwidth, all these things. You don't have to waste them rebuilding widgets that you don't need to rebuild, that you are not doing any changes on these things. So why do I have to make some rebuilding? So by using StatefulBuilder, I'm controlling it and doing the changes only on the widget that I need to do the changes. So let's take a look in here. Okay, as you can see here, I'm doing the changes only on this widget, even though the selected image is changing. The value of the selected image is changing because I'm giving it a new values now. The selected image is, I am changing its value, but this change applies only on this because of the StatefulBuilder. And this selected image is not applied in here because of the StatefulBuilder. So that's how I control the state management of my application. Now, I hope that covers a good portion about the state management in your application and what are the differences and how you can use each type of state management to your application to improve the performance of your application. The setState, the provider, and the StatefulBuilder. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video, and if you wish to get the code, you will find the code in here in this repository. Okay, all of it. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button to encourage me, to support me as well, to carry on with these videos. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.